The Honor Code and Fundamental Standard. Congratulations! You've been accepted to Stanford. No matter where you come from in the world, you will soon be a member of the Stanford community. What does it mean to be a member of the Stanford community? We're here to tell you it means more than just going to classes and being a student. As a community, we encourage each other to be the best versions of ourselves by living out the values that unite us. These values are articulated in Stanford's Honor Code and Fundamental Standard. So what are the Honor Code and the Fundamental Standard, and what will they mean specifically to you as a new Stanford student? Let's start with the Honor Code. Honor codes are rare in schools outside the U.S., but there are more than 100 colleges in the U.S. that have formal honor codes. These codes set standards for academic honesty and integrity. Each one is slightly different, but all have one thing in common: to deter academic dishonesty and create a bond of trust within their academic community so that each member acts with honor and integrity. Different cultures have different ideas about what is okay and what is not okay. Now that you are a Stanford student, we expect you to learn our norms, which may be different from what you are used to. Stanford's Honor Code was written by Stanford students in 1921. It articulates the university's expectations of students and faculty in establishing and maintaining the highest standards in academic work. Stanford's Honor Code can be found on the Office of Community Standards pages of the Stanford University website. Let's take a close look at Point 1 of the Honor Code. Point 1 says students cannot give or receive unpermitted aid on examinations or in classwork. What is considered unpermitted aid will differ from class to class. Because of this, it is very important to read your syllabus and assignment instructions carefully to ensure that you understand what is and is not allowed. If anything is unclear, ask your professor or TA. As you can see in Point 3, the Honor Code requires students and faculty to work together. Here are a few examples of how someone might violate the Honor Code: plagiarism, unpermitted collaboration, giving or receiving unpermitted aid, representing another's work as your own, submitting the same assignment twice. Part of a Stanford student's responsibility is reporting a violation of the Honor Code if they should witness or become aware of such a violation. Students must hold themselves and others accountable to these community values. The Stanford Honor Code gives students a lot of trust. Students who violate this trust have very serious consequences. If the student is found responsible for a violation, the standard sanction for a first-time Honor Code violation is a 1/4 suspension and 40 hours of community service. In addition, the professor may not allow the student to receive credit for the course. As an international student, being suspended from Stanford means going back to your home country, as you may not stay in the U.S. if you are not enrolled in classes. Being suspended may also impact your eligibility to engage in employment benefits, such as optional practical training after graduation. As a Stanford student, a violation will also be placed on your permanent disciplinary record. Some jobs and some postgraduate professional schools, such as law and medicine, may require that you disclose your record as part of your application. Now, let's take a look at how violations might occur. Scenario 1. Plagiarism. Yuri is a junior taking a history class. She's given an assignment to do for her class. Yuri realizes that a research paper she had completed for another assignment was relevant to the current assignment. She realizes that she can save herself time on the new assignment by reusing her old assignment. In the scenario involving Yuri, by reusing her work from a previous assignment, Yuri has committed plagiarism. Plagiarism is when you use someone's words or ideas without citing them and giving them credit, but you can also plagiarize yourself. As in the case of Yuri, this happens if you reuse an old assignment, or parts of an old assignment, in a new one. If you ever want to build off of a previous assignment, it is important to talk to your professor to make sure that this is permitted and to understand how they expect you to cite. If you have questions about how to cite properly, you can talk to your professor or TA, or visit the Hume Writing Center. Scenario 2. Unpermitted aid. Boban is writing a program for his computer science class late at night, but there's a bug in the program he can't find. He asks his classmate Sophia for help. She sits down to review his programming and they discover the bug. Boban corrects his work and submits his assignment. In this scenario, both Boban and Sophia have violated the honor code. Sophia may suggest strategies for debugging the code, but she may not look at Boban's code for him and tell him where the bug is, not even if they sit together and look for the bug. You and you alone are responsible for the work you submit in class. While you may collaborate with others when you write code at an internship or elsewhere, doing so for coursework is a violation of the honor code. Scenario 2 is taken from the Common Misconceptions page of the Office of Community Standards website. You can find more scenarios there. Now let's move on to the fundamental standard. It is a standard of conduct that was articulated in 1896 as follows. Students at Stanford are expected to show both within and without the university such respect for order, morality, personal honor, and the rights of others as is demanded of good citizens. Failure to do this will be sufficient cause for removal from the university. This aspirational statement requires all members of the Stanford community to behave in a good and honorable way. Violations of the fundamental standard vary considerably, but some examples include physical assault, property damage or theft, forgery or misrepresentation, driving while under the influence, violation of university policy. The Office of Community Standards also investigates potential violations of the fundamental standard. Sanctions can range from warnings to expulsion from Stanford, depending on the seriousness of the offense. Together, the fundamental standard and honor code articulate the values that unite the Stanford community and outline the responsibilities that attend the great privilege of being at Stanford. Every member of this community plays an integral role in espousing these ideals and sustaining our culture of excellence. We are excited to welcome you into our community. Have questions about the honor code, fundamental standard, possible sanctions, or the investigation process? Visit the Office of Community Standards or send a question to community-standards@stanford.edu.